Ooh, we're on a roll. I made a video this morning, and so this is a thought that came to me last night. Assume the worst to avoid looking at yourself. We so often enough assume the worst when it comes to other people, and as well as yourself when it comes to circumstances, situations, our surroundings, the reality, the illusions. Like, we automatically go to assuming the worst. People are just committed to misunderstanding. They're committed to loving you with conditions. They're committed to the false facade that they've created in their head when it is regarding to you. And there's not anything outside of that that's going to change it. Why do people do that? Because they're avoiding looking in the mirror. They're avoiding looking in the mirror. And see, that is numero uno lesson when you go through your spiritual awakening and you recognize that everything that surrounds you and how people treat you are just projections. And you can either choose to buy into it, you can choose to buy into the drama, you can choose to buy into the illusions, you can choose to meet them where they're at, or you can go in, do the inner work, do the inner healing, work through it with God, the Most High Source, and look in the mirror and see the things that you need to change about yourself. You have to go through the healing process and change the things within yourself to get to the place where you then own everything unfavorable in your past. You say it out loud, you say it proud, and you move on. You move on. You take accountability and you move on. And if you don't want to say it out loud or proud, say it to God, right? And then you move on and you go out into the world and you start doing better. And once you go out into the world and you start doing better, come closer. You feel better. You feel better. You feel better about yourself. You feel better about your heart. You feel better about your mind, your body, and soul. And then you start looking better. You start looking better. You got a little pep in your step, a little pizzazz to your dancing, right? Because you no longer question who you are and the greatness that resides inside of you. Because there's greatness that resides inside all of us. Inside all of us. But instead of recognizing the greatness that is inside of you, you are assuming the worst within yourself and others. You're assuming the worst in your circumstances. You're assuming the worst in your situation. But you're doing that to avoid the truth. Anytime you assume the worst, you're just doing that to avoid the truth. You need to go ahead and smack. Anytime you're trying to assume the worst in people or places or things, go ahead and put equal to that, avoiding the truth. Avoiding the truth. And see, when I go through my day to day, like, I don't assume the worst. I just embrace it. I embrace it. Whether it's regarding myself, my surroundings, my reality, and I stay on my beating path. I stay on my beating path. I'm very low key. I'm very chill. I keep to myself, and I love it. I love it. I do. It's one of those things. It's hard. And I'm putting myself out there in different ways, the best way I can. I've started putting myself out there a bit. I have, but I'm like an onion. I'm an onion. You gotta peel back those layers. It's hard for me to trust people. I don't even trust the people I got in my life right now. So, I mean, it's one of those things. What you gonna do? I'm wearing my shirt. Can't stop, won't stop. I love this shirt. Can't stop, won't stop. It's the closest thing I get. It's a can't stop, won't stop. All gas, no brakes. That's where I'm at in my walk. But if you find yourself on the fence where if you think in your thoughts where you're assuming the worst of your circumstances, your situation, you're assuming the worst when it comes to those around you, take a minute and ask yourself, are you doing that because you're trying to avoid the truth? Because the truth lies within you, all right? Are you doing that because you're trying to avoid looking at yourself? These are all things that I had to go through. These are all things that I had to go through. And it's hard. Going through your spiritual awakening and your ego death is the hardest thing. It is brutal. It is brutal. Spirituality is not easy. It's not for the weak. You have to get down to the nitty-gritty of your body, mind, and soul and recognize that you are not perfect. And your ways are not correct. Whether it's what your actions are, what you're thinking, what you're projecting, what you're deflecting, all of it. It's very, very hard. But once you get to the other side of it is when you start making music with life. You start making art with life. I mean, if you go back to my videos that I started making in October to me now, boo! I wanted to go back and take a look at that. Actually, I think I might maybe tonight. I think that would be really cool. But anyways, a little message for you. If you're assuming the worst to avoid looking at yourself, then you need to ask yourself, what is it about yourself that you're avoiding? You know, because avoiding things are, you know, that's a part of healing too. It's one of those things. The truth is right there in front of your face. The truth, like, is right here. It looks you in the mirror. It does. Nobody else outside of you carries your truth. Dang, I am spitting freaking facts right here. Dang, this is a fiery video. Dang. Amanda said it, baby. August 6th. Sheesh. I'm spitting it out. That was a good one. The truths look you back in the mirror. They straight do. That is facts. That's good. Sorry. I blow my mind sometimes with some of the crap that comes out of my mouth. God just be working. I tell you, he do. I love you guys.